Cooking one of my favorite parts of one of my favorite animals today, just goat chops. Rosemary crusted, crispy, golden brown. Oh my god, don't those look delicious? I'm going to share the secret to getting that perfect crust with you. So, these are loin chops from my favorite Shepherd Song farm in Downing, Wisconsin. I like to score the fat a little bit. That's optional, but it'll help the fat render a little bit because ideally, in a perfect world, you want to get the fat on them crisp. So these can be tricky to cook because they're so small and they can be a little bit uneven. One of the secrets, perhaps the biggest one, is a dry brine. And all a dry brine is, this just means that I'm seasoning the meat with salt and pepper, and in this case, a little bit of chopped rosemary on two chops, and then a dry rub on the other. And what this is going to do, we're going to season the meat, and then we're going to let it sit in the fridge overnight, or at least for a couple hours, turning them here and there, and it's basically going to dry the meat out a little bit, and it's going to help it brown. So you can see I seasoned the meat with just a pinch of chopped rosemary, and then the other one I'm going to have some blackening seasoning for blackened goat chops. Just two versions, two ideas of what you could do here. You could use thyme, you could use your favorite spice rub. Whatever you do, season them up, put them in the fridge, let them sit for at least a few hours, and ideally overnight, turning occasionally. It's just going to help them dry out, it's going to help them brown better. The second little trick is that when I would have my cooks make these, I always have them start them in like a medium hot pan and they start them fat side down. Okay, so we're putting them down like that. And on the fat side, the fat's going to render out a little bit. I will add a little bit of oil, and they'll be tricky. So they're not all created equal. They're all from like different little parts of the muscle, and you could have bones that stick out that make it so the meat doesn't sit flush in the pan. But letting it sit overnight is really going to help it brown. You're also going to see that I'm moving the chops around. You can do this in the oven too. You can put them in a ripping hot pan, throw the pan in the oven for like 2 minutes, take it out, and just kiss the other sides, flip them another 2 minutes, and they're done. Or you can do them just on the stove top here, but just look at how nice and golden brown those get. It's great. You can see the one in the front isn't flush with the pan. That's just totally fine. And we're going to turn them here and there. Just take your time. If you don't have a hood in your kitchen, you may want to just do a pan roasting technique, and there's instructions for how to do that on my website in the link in the video description, along with everything else you see here. If you want to gild the lily, you can add a little bit of garlic and rosemary and some butter and baste them right at the end. That can be a good way to help get little pieces by the spine bone there that can be a little bit underdone or look pink on the outside. And that's just a nice way to finish them if you have time. But you want to make sure that you don't let them sit and roach in the pan, because now we're going to take them out and let them rest. And we're going to let these rest for, about a good 5 minutes. And you can put them in the oven turned off with the door opened. And you want to shoot for a temperature a little bit underneath what you want. This is 135, and you can see it comes out about medium to medium well. So if you want medium rare, shoot for about 130. And 130 is going to, between 130 and 135 is going to be fine. Another thing to take into consideration is that people don't like to eat goat and lamb chops rare. Most people don't. Everyone is going to prefer them, generally speaking, nice and pink. But just look at that beautiful crust. Dry brine, now you know the secret. The full recipe is on my website. Thanks for watching.